Hey, what's up you guys? Today's video is going to be about how to live rent-free. You probably heard about house hacking in my previous videos. Pretty much when you get the house, rent the other rooms and live in one free, or sometimes even make an additional income. Now this is a way that you could apply to the rental properties too. Say if you got a 3-bedroom house. By the way, one of my recent family members did that. They were studying in a different city, so they got a 3-bedroom house. They lived in the master bedroom and subleased other 2 houses, other students, and they pretty much ended making profit about, not much, but about 100 or 200 bucks a month, which was significant for the student. And also getting a free housing. It was a master bedroom, which is awesome. Now, obviously, for that type of strategy, you need to get roommates. Thing you would need to know when getting a roommates is to screen them. You cannot just let anyone to live with you. Obviously, not only they could be a serial killer, but also they might not pay the rent on time, or they could just be a bad tenants partying and, trashing the property. So you need to be really careful who you're letting inside of your property. It doesn't matter if it's a roommate or a tenant. Second option is just to rent rooms on Airbnb, which is not always legal. Some cities just ban it straightforward, or not really safe because you don't really know who's going to be renting the property. So although the Airbnb is saying that they're doing some kind of screening, it's cool when you're renting the property that you don't live in, but when you're getting a roommates, it's kind of, iffy. Another thing is why to pay rent when you can buy. I know lots of people who think that they are actually not qualified to buy property, while they in real life they are qualified, so they just don't know. So if you just want to make sure, feel free to reach out to me in the comments, and it's going to be a free consultation, no cost to you. This model is pretty much also called rental arbitrage model. When you rent a property and when you put someone else inside for the higher price, this is actually a feasible business model too. If you're buying property, the smart thing would be buying a property in very bad condition. It's called BRRRR method. When you can buy property, rehab it, refinance it, and rinse and repeat. So pretty much it's an endless cycle. You put the cash once, or even buy it without cash with someone else's money, or you get qualified for FHA loan, repair it, live it inside of it for a year or 2, and then sell it and getting a new one and use that money you would get from the first property. Now I have a video about how to get a free house, but this strategy is also a very good starter if you don't have a capital to start buying or flipping properties. Many people ask me how much they need, and there is no specific answer. It all depends on your situation. Everybody's situation is different. However, again, my consultations are free. Drop a comment and I would love to talk to you in depth about that. There are also some other strategies that I found on the internet in other YouTubers videos. One of them was living in the vehicle. Personally, I know a couple of guys who do that, but it's not the same as if you would be living in the property in an apartment or in a house. Obviously the house is much more comfortable, and it's just cool to have a constant place where you can go and chill and not be bothered about different stuff, about the weather, about people crossing the street, who was watching you outside. I don't know. Personally, I think it's cool to have some kind of experience for the short term, but not really for a while. Another advice I found on the internet, which is really weird, it was living in a tent. I mean, come on guys, looks like lots of people in California listened to this advice and just started to live in the tents, but obviously this is also not something that I would personally advise. First of all, it's illegal to put the tents wherever you want them to be. Secondly, obviously it's not convenient. I mean, it's dangerous. You can meet some crazy people, or you can get to see wild animals who will just attack you. I would personally not go with this strategy. Another advice I found was to live in the office. Actually, a friend of mine, shout out to you if you're watching this, was living in the office. I personally had this experience too. I used to overseas, I used to rent a big office, and it had pretty much all conditions to live inside, so I decided just why would be renting the property when I can live inside the office, which is not that bad too. I mean, it's much better than living in a vehicle or in tent, obviously. Keep in mind that offices would be probably much cheaper than a room. That's actually not a bad strategy. However, again, many properties would just not allow that. It's not going to be a really good strategy. Now, another advice I've seen was to move back in with your parents, which is a brilliant advice. If you can do that, I think that's something that everybody should do. I think this is very strange because in other part of the world it's normal for people to live with their families. However, in the United States, people try to get their own property whenever they become 18. I don't know why people are trying to do this. It's really dumb, because you're not financially stable. You need to learn first to stand up on your feet, and then only you can probably give it a try. But yeah, that's definitely brilliant advice. Another thing that is really common on the internet, if you search for it, probably is couchsurfing. If you don't know, there's a website, it's called couchsurfing.com, I believe, or something like that. You just Google couchsurfing, asking strangers to use their couch for a while. I think the whole idea is weird, but somehow it worked out. There were especially 10-15 years ago, it was very popular pre-Airbnb era. People used to rent their couches for free to the strangers. I mean, it's cool when you're young and you're trying to make friends, but I don't know, at my age, in late 30s, early 40s, it sounds a little weird. I mean, why would I let a stranger to sleep on my couch? Another advice was the storage units, which is not only weird, I mean, it's getting super cold in the nighttime, even if they are refrigerated, and hot in the summertime, but also legally you cannot stay in the storage unit. That's why it's called storage. You store stuff inside. Overall, I think best idea is just to try to save or get roommates that will be paying for your property and then come out of this. There were several other ideas like getting a hostel or government housing or getting an in-house work where you stay and help someone in their house, but it's not really you would have to pay either ways. I mean, with your time or with your energy. So I strongly advise to consider the first two options, either to get roommates or get back to your parents' property where you would be able to live pretty much for free. If you guys think that this video made some kind of value, and if you want to see more of this type of videos, just let me know in the comments, and I would see you on the next one. Bye.